bikes, man. Dirt bikes are so fucking fun. Like, goddamn. If there was one thing that can quell my anger, it was a goddamn dirt bike. And we used to have like just a couple acres at my parents' house. And it was nothing. It was just a bunch of bullshit flat. I got a funny story here. Fucking coochie, man, as we all know. But I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. Dirt bikes. Yeah, like a 250 is like the engine size. So like cc, cubic centimeters. I forget how many liters it is. I used to know. I went to school to become a mechanic way back in the long ago, and I forgot a lot about all that shit. But anyway, in the back, it was just flat, right? So I used to just haul ass back, come back, haul ass back and forth. But then, one night, my parents went to Hawaii, right? My whole fucking family. But I met this girl, and I was like, I ain't going nowhere. You guys are going to Hawaii. I'm staying at home. This chick's coming over, and we're going to be in this house alone. And so that's what I did, right? And so one night, I took her back home, and then I came home, and I was sitting in my car, smoking a bowl in the driveway. And I heard, or I saw something, right? And this guy was like, what the fuck? You know, I turn on my lights, and I see this motherfucker, and he goes running off into the field. So my ass jumps out of the car, and I grab this big-ass sledgehammer for whatever reason, sitting up there by the band room. It was like a separate garage. And and I got this big-ass sledgehammer, and I start running, but I'm, like, pretty small, and this sledgehammer is fucking... God, I don't even know how much it weighed. It wasn't, like, super heavy, but it was, like... I don't even know how much it weighed. It was a huge fucking sledgehammer. And I'm chasing this fucking dude out in the middle of the fucking darkness. And I'm screaming, get the fuck back here, motherfucker. You're not fucking getting back here. You're not getting away. And whatever the fuck I was screaming, right? And he totally got away. And so, cut to a couple hours later. I took a shower. I'm sitting in my room watching South Park, smoking, right? And I'm sitting this way. And there's a window right here. And I'm like, I'm blowing smoke out my window. I'm smoking because I'm smoking a blunt, and it's not that big of a deal because my parents aren't going to be home for a couple of weeks or whatever. And but I'm still blowing out the window, and I hear something, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look outside, somebody's driving up, and it's a fucking cop. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, this story is all over the place, but it gets back to dirt bikes, I promise. So he's like, it gets back to dirt bikes. Now it's even more all over the place. So I look, and there's cops outside, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is happening? So I put out the blunt real quick, and they knock on the door, and I answer, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're city cops, and I'm in county property, so I can tell them to fuck off. But anyway, I go, what's up? And they're like, hey, so we got some reports. Somebody called and said that they heard a lot of yelling out in the back. Somebody said they were going to kill somebody, and they don't really know what's going on. It sounded pretty violent. And I was like, yeah, so check it out. That was me. I was like, and they just looked at me like, okay. I'm like, there was somebody, I drove back home, and I pulled up in my driveway, and some guy was in my property, and I chased him down with a sledgehammer. And they're like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I didn't catch him. He got away, but I was screaming at him and shit. I don't know what I said, but I definitely probably screamed some threats at him. You know, he is on private property, trespassing. And they're like, okay, you didn't catch him? And I was like, nah, I didn't catch him. And they're like, where's the sledgehammer? I was like, I don't know, out in the back on the ground or some shit. And they're like, and you didn't catch him? And I was like, no. They're like, do we have your permission to go check around the property? Maybe we'll find him. And I was like, yeah, fucking go ahead. You have my permission. Go ahead and look. So I'm back in the house. As far as I know, they left, right? I wake up in the morning at like 6 in the morning, and I hear this a bunch of loud noise and shit. And it's a fucking like investigator truck or whatever the hell, forensics truck, like 2 vans leaving. Or a truck and a van leaving. And I was like, what the fuck? I go in the backyard, and they dug up a huge hole. I had started building a dirt jump. They thought that I buried a guy, and I stopped building the dirt jump because the ground was so fucking hard, right? And so looking for a fucking body, they dug that shit hella deep and just left the fucking dirt like a bunch of assholes, just left it in a huge pile. But that was great for me because I was trying to build a dirt jump. So I got Stockton PD. If you're having trouble with a jump, say that you think somebody's buried out there, and they'll come and dig it up for you. That was the shit, man. I couldn't believe what had happened. And I didn't give them permission to dig out there. Maybe they had probable cause, whatever. I didn't complain because they did me a favor. But I'm sure they probably shouldn't have been doing that. But that's my story. It did come back to dirt bike jumps. It was a pretty cool jump. It stayed back there for a while, too. Let's get one of these skills. I feel like I should